guy in a dorm room, and today I am going to be reviewing Home Alone, directed by Chris Columbus and starring Macaulay Culkin, Daniel Stern, Joe Pesci, Catherine O'Hara, and others. Stay tuned for the rest of this video because today I have a special guest that will also be reviewing this film, so stay tuned for that. Home Alone is a cult classic and it's a Christmas classic. There's a reason why. This is an excellent film of growth. For those of you who don't know, Home Alone is a film where a kid has this giant family and they're all going to Paris, France for the Christmas holidays. However, in the rush of getting out of there in time and making it to the airport in time, they accidentally leave Kevin home alone. I don't remember how old he is. I want to say he's like 8. But the point is, he's left home alone, and it's established very early on that he's not self-sufficient at all. Can't even pack his own suitcase by himself, and a lot of the other kids can't stand him because of how helpless he is. There are a couple writing issues in the beginning where I feel like things are overwritten. A lot of the characters are just like, oh, you're such a disease. Oh, Kevin, you're the worst. Kevin, you suck. You're horrible. Everyone in this family hates me. This happens for like so long. The first 15 minutes is just Kevin complaining and everyone dunking on Kevin. There's a lot of exposition. At one point, the parents literally explain to the robber that they're going to be leaving, and they have these securities up, and these securities up, and those securities up. This writing is persistent throughout the film. I feel like the film is very overwritten at times. The pacing is very slow. And at the same time, there are a lot of inconsistencies in the characters. At one point, Kevin might be ecstatic to be in the house, and then in the next scene, he's terrified and wants his mother back. But then in the next scene, he's fine again, and he's sledding down the stairs outside to go play out in the snow, and then he's terrified again. There's very little inconsistency that makes it hard to see and understand the growth that Kevin goes through. But at the same time, it still makes sense. Kevin does go through a lot of growth because since he is forced to stay home alone and combat these two house burglars, he does have to accrue some sense throughout the film. And I feel like in that aspect, this film is genius. It sets up factors for which Kevin has to grow. And I really think that's quite excellent. The acting in this film is amazing. Macaulay Culkin is amazing as Kevin. He is fantastic, and just like Will Ferrell did with Buddy the Elf, Macaulay Culkin really brings out the childlike quality in all of us. We all wanted to be home alone by ourselves and just live like Kevin does in this movie. There's so much attention to detail. The Angels with Filthy Souls movie, that thing is awesome. One of the best films within a film that I've ever seen, maybe even the best. And at the same time, Catherine O'Hara, she brings in a great performance as the mom. Absolutely excellent performances by everyone. I'll never forget Buzz. Buzz McAllister is one of the most memorable side characters in a film. He's barely in the film. He only has like 2-3 minutes of screen time. But he's so memorable. He's just a jerk. And it's hilarious. I wouldn't let you sleep in my room if you were growing on my ass. Just so brutal. On top of that, the score is absolutely excellent and just makes this movie even more heartwarming. Let's talk about the sequence at the end where Kevin defeats the burglars, the famous burglar catching sequence. A masterpiece. A masterpiece sequence. Everybody knows this sequence. It is one of the best sequences I've ever seen in a movie. Not just a Christmas movie, but movies in general. Overall, Home Alone is a story of growth, and I really feel like even though there were writing issues, even though there are several editing issues, even though there are pacing issues, it's a great film overall. And I gave Home Alone an 8.5 out of 10, or an A-. However, to help me finish this review, today I am joined by fellow YouTuber, Rate It. So, his channel is going to be in the description down below. And with that, Rate It, take it away, and I'll see ya.
Thank you so much for inviting me on here and for that great introduction. Now let's get on with the review. Home Alone is about an 8-year-old kid who's accidentally left home alone and must defend his house from a pair of burglars. This is one of the most iconic Christmas movies of all time. Everyone I know has seen this movie at one point and enjoys this movie so much, and I have to say, this is one of my top Christmas movies of all time and one that I watch every year. This is a very fast-moving film, and the script is brilliant and clever because the concept of this film is fresh and there's a ton of creativity put into the comedy. Not only were the characters very well set up and strongly developed throughout, but they're also so remarkable, such as Kevin, his mom, Buzz, the Wet Bandits, and pretty much all the characters. And I can't forget that almost every single line and scene is so memorable. Chris Columbus's direction was very strong, and he made this film flow by smoothly. and the way he directs the comedy timing and all the interactions between all the characters were brilliant, and he brought that skill with him when he would go on to later direct the first two Harry Potter movies. And right away from the opening credits, John Williams' score is fantastic and is another addition that makes this movie feel very warm and comforting. And all the performances from the entire cast, such as the ones from Macaulay Culkin and Catherine O'Hara, were very fun, and the entire cast gave highly entertaining performances that also made us feel a lot for their characters. But of all the characters, Harry and Marv, played by Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern, steal every moment they're in, and are absolutely hilarious throughout. Another thing that I really love about this movie is how the family feels like a real family, and he cares so much for Kevin and his entire family, and they are the heart of this movie, and it makes it more relatable and special. It's so hard to find any flaws with this movie, and the only one that I could truly find were some pacing issues in the middle, but the film definitely picks up and delivers one of the best and most entertaining finales ever made. I am also going to be rating Home Alone an A-. This is a must-watch for the holiday season if you love heartwarming and fun holiday classics. I also want to say a big thank you to a guy in a dorm room for inviting me on here, and be sure to check out all of his videos because he makes such great content. Thank you for watching our review of Home Alone.